Taking and passing an ARRT exam is part of the requirements for earning a credential through our organization. Once you're a registered technologist, you'll also need to take a structured self-assessment once every 10 years as part of maintaining your certification and registration. These exams and assessments determine whether you have the knowledge and cognitive skills required of technologists entering the profession today. Meeting these requirements will show that you're ready to provide high-quality and safe patient care. We take a strategic, multi-step approach when creating our exams and assessments. Our proven process helps ensure that our exams and assessments are current and accurate. Our discipline-specific committees are at the core of our exam and assessment development efforts. We have 3 committee types for each discipline. The Practice Analysis Advisory Committee defines the tasks performed in current professional practices. The Examination Committee helps create the exams and assessments. The Standard Setting Committee evaluates the pass-fail score or cut score for each exam. Our committee members are dedicated volunteers that come from a range of positions, geographic locations, and practice settings. They may be practicing technologists, educators, administrators, physicists, or physicians. Our exam development process begins by evaluating and defining the current professional practice for each discipline. We regularly conduct practice analyses, also called job analyses, to help ensure our exams and assessments accurately reflect the tasks that today's technologists routinely perform. Our Practice Analysis Advisory Committee begins the process by drafting a survey and sending it to a large sample of registered technologists in that discipline. After reviewing the survey responses, we create a task inventory. It's a comprehensive list of activities that technologists routinely perform. We'll only include a task on the inventory if a certain percentage of technologists confirm that they perform the activity. We then base our clinical requirements for each discipline on their respective task inventories. We also use them to develop content outlines for our examinations and assessments. Volunteer RTs write questions for our exams and assessments using our discipline-specific content outlines as a guide. Our staff and exam committees regularly review these new questions. If approved, we'll add the question to an item bank. We then select specific questions from the item bank to pilot on ARRT exams. We don't factor the pilot questions into a candidate's score, and a candidate can't tell the difference between pilot questions and scored questions. Based on the performance of the pilot questions, we'll decide whether to include them on future exams and assessments as scored questions. The next step is to assemble drafts of our exams and assessments. The drafts include approved questions from the pilot process, which will have become scored questions. We also include new pilot questions. Our exam committees review the drafts to make sure that each exam and assessment is approximately as difficult as previous versions were, and that they conform to our current content outlines. We produce and review several drafts before approving a final version. The last step of the development process involves scoring. Here's where exams and assessments split paths. We don't score the assessment that RTs take for their continuing qualifications requirements structured self-assessment because candidates don't pass or fail it. For certification and registration exams, we use a comprehensive scoring method called scaled scoring. It adjusts for differences in difficulty across various exam versions. To pass most ARRT exams, candidates need to receive a total scaled score of 75. The scaled score isn't equal to the percentage or the number of questions you answered correctly. Instead, it's easiest to think about a scaled score this way. On some exam versions, you might need to correctly answer 135 of 200 questions to receive a scaled score of 75. On more difficult exam versions, you might need to answer only 134 of 200 questions correctly to receive the same scaled score of 75. This method helps make the process fair to all examinees. One thing to note for sonography candidates: in addition to receiving a total scaled score of 75, you'll also need to receive a passing scaled score on your abdomen and OBGYN sections. Professional skills, knowledge, and best practices can change significantly over longer periods of time. In turn, we convene standard settings committees when appropriate to reevaluate what level of performance should be necessary to pass specific ARRT exams. In other words, they reevaluate the pass-fail score, or cut score. Based on the results of our findings, we determine if a new cut score would better reflect the skills and knowledge of entry-level RTs today. Sometimes the cut score increases, other times it decreases or stays the same. To learn more about how we create our exams and assessments, visit our website or call our Examination Requirements and Psychometrics Department at 651-687-0048, extension 8530.